I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I think we good. Let's get the show started. Okay, hold on. I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I think we good. Let's get the show started. Got the playback. Cool, 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 cool. Yes, all right, let's get this thing started. Tighten up. All right, cool. Yeah. All right, y'all, let's get this show started. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning into another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast? This is episode 285. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild, and I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in every Wednesday and every Sunday. Your support is everything, and we continue to grow. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 14, so continue to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that all notification bell. It does help with the growth of the show. Our ultimate goal is to get to 100,000 subscribers, get that big plaque in the back. You already know. And again, we appreciate y'all as always. Continue to leave comments and stay engaged. I do see y'all I do see y'all comments in the videos, even if you don't agree always with me. But again, it's always wonderful to have a great debate and just share ideas and thoughts, right? All right, y'all. I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Again, that's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. I feel like I'm missing something. Remember, y'all, do not be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. A stain is somebody that try to stand out by being negative. Have the ability to stand out by being positive. Lose that Willie Lynch mindset. Lose that it can only be one side. It can only be one mindset. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. We celebrate life culture. Hate has a location. It's just not here. So again, I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in and showing major love to the pod. And yeah, make sure y'all stay engaged throughout the show. It helps with the growth as well. I feel like I'm missing something here. All right, so yeah, we all good on this end. Okay, just making sure the playback was good. Okay. All right, y'all, let's get the show started. No further ado, first segment of the night, popular opinions. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records. Make sure you go to Instagram at OUV Records and stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire. So make sure y'all say it again. Create, document, and inspire. Make sure y'all go again to OUV Records on Instagram. All right, y'all, first one of the night. Remember, y'all, these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions. First one of the night. Who holds the crown for the most influential mixtape run of the 2000s? Who holds the crown for the most influential mixtape run of the 2000s? Okay. Number one, 50 Cent and G Unit. Number two, Lil Wayne. Number three, Chameleonaire. Number four, Gucci Man. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Who holds the most, who holds the crown for the most influential mixtape run of the 2000s? Again, number one, 50 Cent and G Unit. Number two, Lil Wayne. Number three, Chameleonaire. Number four, Gucci Man. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. 50 Cent and G Unit and the blueprint of mixtape era at that time. I remember that time. This is like late 90s, early 2000s. Obviously, they're talking about the 2000 run, no, but them early 2000s, when mixtape actually became like a thing. Because mixtape really wasn't a thing for real prior to, like, late 90s, mixtapes was kind of like considered like a DJ thing. Like, you know, DJ Clue, like all the big DJs had at the time had mixtapes where they basically put popular songs on one album that was already out, but they kind of like mixed in their drop. They mixed in the type of beat that they want to use. And that's how like mixtapes used to be for real. But 50 Cent himself and his crew, they use mixtaping as a whole nother type of promotion. So by the time Get Rich or Die Trying came out, it was already like it was basically he already went platinum in the hood, and the official album, the blueprint was already set and easy. So um for me, I'm going with 50 Cent and G Unit because those albums was hitting differently. They would take anybody else's beat and basically just come up with their own joint, and people was really rocking to it. So like, honestly, when you say most influential, I gotta go with 50 Cent, but I gotta mention Lil Wayne. I remember Lil Wayne at the time in those 2000s was killing the mixtape game. So much to the point where people was having real arguments. Was his mixtapes better than the album? And a lot of people prefer those mixtapes more than Lil Wayne album. That's not a diss. That's what the streets was saying. They was like, yo, that Lil Wayne mixtape, next level. But the albums in itself, they mid. And that used to be the argument. So either way, it, people was crowning Lil Wayne as the mixtape king. Even though 50 Cent, in my opinion, took like actually like established mixtaping. Me personally, when it comes to just an artist, and most rappers rather have a mixtape than an official album, especially like in those early 2000s. Me personally, and Lil Wayne was at the top of the list, giving great work on those mixtapes. Carmillionaire, he was tough too. He was tough too. Gucci Man was another one that was able to really come up off the mixtape game as well. But me personally, out of everybody on this list, even though everybody did their thing on the mixtape game on this list, I gotta go with 50 Cent. So again, the question is, who holds the crown for the most influential mixtape run of the 2000s? Again, 50 Cent's Unit. Number two, Lil Wayne and Chamillionaire. Number three, Gucci Man. And again, I went with number one in the chat. I'm seeing also number one in the chat. The rest of the world, mind y'all, 32,000 people voted on this. 39% went with, wow, Lil Wayne, the Drought and the Dedication series, Dominance. They went with that particular artist, Lil Wayne in particular. But those, the Drought and the Dedication series was like fire. I will say that for sure. And I'm not mad at that because again, he has a, you know, again, we talking about influential. It made the whole game want to do mixtapes. So if you was an artist in that early 2000s period, if you was a rapping, you was putting out mixtapes, whether it was via, you know, hitting the streets, whether you kept it online. I believe it was Dat Piff and a couple of other ones, whether you was using World Star. I mean, like I remember there was a path for you to get popping if you was a rapper in those early 2000s. If you had a hot song and you was able to get on, you know, World Star, just said it, World Star, and you parlayed that World Star views onto like Dat Piff, that was like a nice little trifecta. Now you could go up to the radio station and get your stuff off. So I remember that used to be like a trifecta that rap artists was doing, especially in those early 2000s. So again, I still believe it's 50 Cent, but again, the rest of the world went with Lil Wayne at 39%. So it is what it is. Lil Wayne well deserved, so it is what it is. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion question. Which iconic 90s hip hop album has the absolute best production from top to bottom? Again, Which iconic 90s R&B hip hop album had the most iconic, has the absolute best production from top to bottom? Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Number 1, The Chronic, Dr. Dre. Number 2, Illmatic, Nas. Number 3, Aquemini, Outkast. Number 4, Into the Woo, 36 Chambers, RZA. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, which iconic 90s hip-hop album has the absolute best production from top to bottom? Number 1, The Chronic, Dr. Dre. Number 2, Illmatic, Nas. Number 3, Aquemini, Outkast. Number 4, Into the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, RZA. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, all these albums is next level fire. I remember when Aquemini came out, I believe Aquemini was one of the first albums, like 4 albums that I bought with my hard-earned money that I worked in the summertime for. And I was at my aunt's house in Long Island, and I had to get to the local mall to get that Aquemini album. Mind you, hip-hop is universal. These dudes is from Atlanta. They from Atlanta. But they was just popping to me. I liked Outkast, and I went to go get that album, and I remember that album, the production, the music, the bars. But when we're just talking about the production all in itself, it's a tough album. I'm not gonna hold you. It's a tough album. But you think about Illmatic in itself. You had Large Professor, you had DJ Premier, you had Pete Rock. Again, I'm born and raised from Brooklyn, New York, and that felt like hip hop as well. The Chronic, Dr. Dre, West Coast. Y'all know me, I love a West Coast beat. That West Coast sound, that G-Funk sound is literally like cheating when you're rapping, because you get that bounce, you get them that urban style sound, and you get that West Coast feel to it too. To me, that's kind of like cheating. G-Funk is kind of like cheating because the beats, the production is always fire. And into the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, come on, man. That's all in the project buildings, Chinese food, hitting the streets. That's what that album felt like to me. So out of all of these albums, to me, the best iconic production on this list overall, I'm gonna have to go with Illmatic, Nas, again, Large Professor, DJ Premier, Pete Rock. So I'm gonna go with Nas. So I'm going with 2 on this list. In the chat, I'm seeing 2 in the chat. That's what I'm saying. I'm seeing 2s in the chat. Y'all going with y'all agree with me saying Nas. But 57,000 people voted on this. 43% went with Dr. Dre and the Chronic album as the most absolute best production from top to bottom. Like I said, all of these albums, like the question said, is iconic. All of these albums is iconic. Is there a wrong answer for real? No. But it's all preference based. Again, I went with Nas, but the rest of the world went with the Chronic. And again, I'm not mad at the Chronic because, again, West Coast beats is like cheating, because when you hear that West Coast beat and it's mixed with that G-Funk, it just hit different. So I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at people saying the Chronic, Dr. Dre. Again, it's 43% and 57,000 people voted on this. So again, I'm not mad at this at all. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment, our barbershop talk. So our barbershop talk for this episode, question: does a rapper losing a high-profile rap battle permanently damage their legacy, or is it just a temporary blemish? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, barbershop talk: does a rapper losing a high-profile rap battle permanently damage their legacy, or is it just a temporary blemish? Let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. Me personally, again, at the shop, and when I was at the shop, this particular conversation did come up, mainly because in my estimation, the total body of work always matter. When you're a rap artist and you put out great bodies of work in that album, you take your time and pick the right production. I'm more so of an impact than a sales guy, because and I'm not trying to diss none of the rap artists, you know what I'm saying? I'm a rap artist myself. But there's a lot of guys who are successful but not good. And some people say, well, how is that one and the same? What I mean by successful, meaning the success of the album as far as the sales. Understand, when people are signed to majors, it's the job of the majors to make sure that the album sells, right? They have to make sure that it's packaged correctly. Is there a hit song that's played on the radio, that's played in the club, and then you buy that album, and the rest of the album is complete dog ass? But because it was packaged correctly, they had a good video, they had one good song, you went out to go get the album, so the success of that album makes it seem successful. But when it comes to your peers and when it comes to people that actually listen to it, it was like it only had one song, right? So to me, that's not successful. But there's other artists that probably shipped gold or didn't even go gold, but top to bottom, the album is fire. So yeah, maybe like 1 million people did not buy the album, but this body of work is respected by the peers and by the people who mess with it. So I look at impact more so than actual record sales success. That's just me personally. So when you think about a rapper having a high profile rap battle and permanently damaging their legacy, or is it a temporary blemish? I think it's case by case. I can't really say for sure, but it's case by case. Case in point, Ja Rule. Ja Rule. I remember a point in time, again, I was in high school, and Ja Rule had the Minus Touch on records. Period. One of the biggest rap artists in the world, whether he did features, whether it was his own song, they became big records. Whether he did a hook or whether he did verses or whether he did both, these were big songs that Ja Rule was a part of. Some way, somehow, when he battled 50 Cent and they had their back and forth, and mind you, Ja Rule had a couple of tough diss records, but 50 Cent diss records cut harder, and the fact that he was really coming at him with his timing. The timing mattered, because there was like a time period where Ja Rule didn't respond immediately. So as a fan of music, when 50 Cent was coming at him and he didn't respond immediately, and that could have been to a multitude of things, because Ja Rule label was going through a whole bunch of stuff. And timing was everything, right? Timing is everything in music and in a music battle. Before, like, by the time he answered, the record was cool, but it was like we had to wait for this, and this was, I got 100 clips, I'm from New York record, and mind you, that's a tough song, and it still go hard still to this day, but that took a while for it to come out. It wasn't like an immediate response. So that changed the trajectory of his career. When you look at, and I'm probably gonna lose some of y'all because this is going back further, but when I was like a little kid, when I was like 4 or 5, I remember hearing my brother argue, because my brother was 10 years old, arguing who won the battle between LL Cool J and Kool Moe Dee. And unanimously, everybody was saying it was LL Cool J. So that also changed the trajectory of how people viewed Kool Moe Dee then, and even now. You don't even hear him spoke about in any type of elite rap conversations. And Kool Moe Dee has some fire music. Kool Moe Dee was actually popping at one period of time. He was a part of a lot of big records and a lot of big movements in hip hop, but it did, it changed how people looked at his career, even though he's still a legend, but you know what I'm saying? It didn't hit the same. So when an artist lose a high profile rap battle, it in essence do damage their career. But when I think of 50 Cent and Rick Ross, I don't see neither one of those guys losing because they had a whole battle. They had songs going back and forth. They did the media thing going back and forth, and both was able to walk away still with their street cred intact and still be able to drop music. So I just thought it was quite interesting. I just think this is case by case. And in the barbershop, everybody said, yo, if you lose, it changes everything. But I still believe that it's case by case. You look at what Kendrick did to Drake. And honestly, all Drake from here on out got to do is just make great music. He don't have to beef with nobody else. He don't really got to respond to nobody else. If you make a great album, great music, people gonna put the whole Kendrick thing behind him. Honestly, and then he did drop a new album recently, and it was mid as fuck. That's why people still talking about Kendrick bodying him in the rap battle. So either way, me personally, I think is case by case. Shout out to the chat. Y'all going in the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Ebony, Illmatic. Not winning is wild to me. I love Drake. Oh, going back to the popular opinion question. Okay, but Illmatic literally assembled Avengers of East Coast production. Okay, so you said, well, okay, bet. Shout out to Ebony. Definitely just a temporary blemish if you already have a classic catalog. So again, case by case. If you have a classic catalog, it could be temporary, right? But if you continue to make great music, people will forget all about that. So me personally, I definitely say it's case by case. Shout out to ASCAP. Appreciate you for tapping and hit the likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. We appreciate you for tuning and tapping in. And like the comments say, don't be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain. Do not try to stand out by being negative. Have that ability to stand out by being positive and adding to the conversation and not asking troll type, dumbass type of questions. So shout out if you're a real supporter and be a real one to show that love. But again, I think it's case by case. I think it's case by case. Some may say that it's just temporary, but it's case by case to me. It's case by case. When people really like an artist and they lose a battle, they will make exceptions. We've seen Drake lose. People are going to make exceptions. And again, if he focused on making great music, they're not going to think about that whole Kendrick battle. I think another reason with the whole Ja Rule and 50 Cent, that people realized they probably didn't like Ja Rule as much as they thought they did, because people really jumped on 50's side and it was like literally no coming back for Ja Rule. And mind you, Ja Rule's a whole legend. Ja Rule got a real catalog, a real like you know what I'm saying? With his catalog alone, he should be able to sell out venues. Excuse me. He should be able to sell out venues. He should be able to sell out arenas. But you don't see Ja Rule on tour like that. And if he is, he's a part of a tour opposed to closing the tour. That's not a diss. That's just the vibe of what's in the realm of music. Even though he's probably done shows, but you don't see a Ja Rule tour. And that's not by accident, because the way people viewed him. So again, if these great artists with this great catalog, if they just focus on the music, they'll be all right. Because people going to pick and choose anyway. They going to pick and choose anyway. And it's all if the people really fuck with you or not. You know, we had this conversation about R. Kelly, even though he's not a rapper, but whatever he did or didn't do, I guarantee you if R. Kelly got out of jail tomorrow and he announced that he's going on tour, the tour will be sold out. I guarantee that. So if the people fuck with you, they gonna pull up and show up. So, I think it's case by case, and other guys in the shop felt like, again, that it doesn't matter. Some guys say it definitely does, because like, yo, once you go up against somebody and you lose, it changes everything, dog. So to me, it's case by case. It's case by case. Even with Jay-Z and Nas, y'all said it in the chat, with Jay-Z and Nas, I thought Jay-Z won. I thought Takeover was a way better song than Ether. Ether hit differently because of the moment, when it's like, put it like this, right? What's a bigger conversation? Jordan dunking on Clyde Drexler, or Clyde Drexler dunking on Jordan? And I'm not trying to call Nas Clyde Drexler, right? Because Nas to me, he's a God MC. Jay-Z is God MCs. But at that time, Jay-Z was outperforming Nas in the sense of being, what's the word I'm missing? Like, at the time, Jay-Z was way more, I'm missing the word, but he was just way more consistent, dropping albums every summer, or every the season that it was time to drop albums. The music, it was always hit somewhere. When Nas albums at those times, it was really hit or miss, right? When you a rapper's rapper, you was feeling what Nas was doing at the time. But when you're a rapper's rapper, you still have to have some of the commercial hits, some of them hits that's going to hit. And a lot of people thought those albums in those early 2000s, after obviously it was written, was kind of sort of albums. So when Jay-Z was more consistent than Nas, the fact that Nas responded in the way that he responded, it hit harder. Even though I think Takeover was the better song, even though I felt like Super Ugly was the better diss, people still revered Nas as the winner from that battle. It did not change. The biggest point that I'm trying to make is that it did not change the trajectory of Nas' career or Jay-Z career. And matter of fact, it didn't change. It didn't, like, in the eyes of the music business, it didn't take Nas from one level to the next, because Nas was already at the top level. But Nas was not going to give us commercial records. You know what I'm saying? He was just out here just doing him. And that used to be like the biggest knock on Nas too, especially again after those It Was Written albums, that Illmatic album. His biggest problem, in my opinion, was the production. When I was younger, when I was a kid, that production to me wasn't hitting. As a grown man, I hear it differently. I still think that he needed better production, but I hear it differently on what he was doing. So it's case by case when it comes to rap beef and the trajectory of the career afterwards. So that was the barbershop talk for today's episode. Shout out to my dog Tom. My dog Tom in the building. You already know. Appreciate you for tuning and tapping in. You already know. Hit them likes, hit the 100s, Tom. It helped with the growth of the show. We appreciate you as always. Brother Tom said, no, Ashley. This is his twin brother. I know my brother Ashley. We good, bro. Never lose faith in the Lord, and especially yourself. Appreciate you for tapping in, man, as always. Shout out to Ebony. Nah, Ash, I disagree. Nas won. But I said that though. I didn't say Nas won. I said Jay-Z won. I said the community, majority of the people, or the vibe of the people felt like Nas won that battle. I did acknowledge that, but I felt like Jay-Z won. Takeover was the better diss record. Super Ugly was the better diss song altogether. Like, and the reason why that mattered, Takeover is the best song to re-listen to out of all the diss records, right? It's Takeover, the breaks over, like the way it comes on, it has a way better replay value. but Super Ugly is the better. Like when we're just talking about diss, like how Ether was just dissing, it wasn't like a record. Takeover was a record, right? But to me, Super Ugly with that Dr. Dre, Wash. I don't know if y'all remember the movie The Wash. They had remade Car Wash and they call it The Wash. But that Super Ugly, that Wash beat, it got crazy. It got crazy. It got crazy. I remember that time and period. It got crazy. I am a Kool G Rap type of brother. That was my guy. My brother got me into Kool G Rap. Kool G Rap is my dude too. I'm a big Kool G Rap fan. If you listen to my music, you could hear some of that in there. You know what I'm saying? I just throw a little of that adobo in there. You know what I'm saying? That a little of that influence like Kool G Rap. I never try to steal nobody's style. I never try to do Kool G Rap style, but you can hear a little of the adobo that I throw in there from Kool G Rap though. And AZ is my favorite rapper other than Jadakiss. No argument for me. AZ from Brooklyn. He's a beast. AZ is super underrated. And honestly, I thought Nas made better music. And this is, again, Nas is a legend. And I'll never talk bad about Nas. But I thought when Nas had The Firm around that time, the energy felt bigger. When it was Nas and The Firm, and if y'all remember The Firm, we're talking about top tier Foxy Brown. Lyrically, top tier. We're talking about top tier AZ. We're talking about top tier Nature. If y'all remember Nature, top tier, like this was different. Core Mega. This was different. This is top tier right here. I just thought the energy of that was super dope, because you got to remember, when you was like the guy at the time, all rappers or the main guy, he always had a crew, right? Biggie, his crew was Junior Mafia, Little Kim, right? Little Caesar. That was his crew, right? And obviously the most standout person out that crew was easily Little Kim, right? When you think of Jay-Z, his crew, we talking about Memphis Bleak, Beanie Siegel. We talking about Emil. And people don't give props to Emil. Emil was nice, yo. I don't care what nobody say. Emil was nice, bro. Emil was super duper nice to me. So when Jay had Emil, Memphis Bleak, people don't give credit to Memphis Bleak pen as well, which I don't like. Jay-Z did not write all Memphis Bleak stuff. I don't believe that, me personally. And of course, Beanie Siegel. That's top tier. Nas, again, I just said the crew. Foxy, Core Mega, Nature, AZ, the Firm. You know what I'm saying? They came off, they came off smooth with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, different. Again, Rough Riders. You had DMX. He's the front guy. Then you had the Lox. Even though the Lox is easily one of the best hip hop groups ever, right? Arguably top 5 ever. You can't have a conversation about rap groups without the Lox, right? The only groups that you can even mention in their vicinity in the hip hop realm is obviously NWA, Wu-Tang Clan, Run DMC. Some people act like Run DMC didn't exist. If it wasn't for Run DMC, nobody would have been able to do nothing. Public Enemy. These are top tier rap groups that hit on a whole nother level. So each top rap guy had like a rap crew, I don't want to say under him, but adjacent, you know what I'm saying? That kept that energy and credit. Same thing with G-Unit, right? You had 50 Cent, then his crew consisted of, and I really think G-Unit could have been even more special because I wasn't a super fan of Game, but Game is really lyrical. Like, I used to get on Game all the time because he always threw a lot of tributes in his album, but the older I get, the more I appreciate his lyrical content. But when you got the Game, Lloyd Banks was always nice. you had a Young Buck that gave that southern flavor. You had Tony Yayo, and then if you remember Tony Yayo first album, that was a legit album. That wasn't like some putt shit. That was a legit album. The Predicate Felon. So so top tier guys always have a crew. So I say that to say, even if you think of J. Cole, you think of Dreamville, JID, the other kid, I can't think of the other dude name, but the other dude is super nice with the low cut. Is super nice. I forget his name right now, but y'all get the point that I'm making. Shout out to y'all in the chat. What do you say? Yes, sorry, but FJZ. Shout out to Paul. Shout out to Paul White. You don't like Jay-Z? Okay. Again, rap is preference based. It's preference based. So it is what it is. But Jay-Z is easily my favorite rapper ever. So I mess with Jay-Z. You don't. You know what I'm saying? Ashley, I believe every rapper wouldn't admit it, but they got a little Coogee rap in them. Yeah, me personally, I don't have no problem telling my truth. Most other artists have a problem telling their truth, mainly because it makes them feel like it's like they lesser than, right? Like oh, I'm dick riding. Nah, I give props to where props due. I would say in a heartbeat who was influential to me. I have no problem saying that. Who was influential to me? Coogee Rap was influential to me. His rap style, cadence. Come on, the lyrical level, like Coogee Rap to me is another god MC. Me personally, y'all might call me crazy on that, but that's where I'm at with that. Yes, I thought the firm was going to be out of control. See, the problem with the firm was the direction. That was the problem of the firm. They didn't have the direction that was needed to really take them further down the line, because it was too much left on the table, is why I say that. It was too much left on the table. Even though each artist was successful in their own way, all of their situations could have been bigger, and as a crew, they could have been bigger. As a crew, they could have been much bigger as well. So they left a lot on the table. And mind you, Nas, when he started doing records with R. Kelly, he started doing movies. That's when you start seeing the wheels come off the track, because like, they keep it real with you. And I got a problem with this. It's not enough hours in a day. 1 second I'm working on this, 1 second I'm working on that. I'm working on a new album. I'm working on podcasting. I'm working on my animation. It's not enough hours in a day. So I can understand somebody like Nas, who is one of the best rappers ever. Like, yo, I don't got enough time to do all this shit. I got my album. I got the crew album. They want me to do Belly. They want me to do this movie over here. I want to go to Africa. I want to, I want to work on my mass appeal stuff. I want to do this. Like, it's not enough hours in a day. So that's why I say management and direction was an issue with that crew. Queens had some hitters in that borough that can spit. Yeah, come on, like Queens is Queens. Queens is Queens. Queens always had dope rappers. Always. You see, that's the thing. You'll never hear me diss. Like, I'm not a hater. You see what I'm saying? I'm from Brooklyn and I can't hate. I can't hate. Queens has always been tough. They always been tough. That's fact. And Jungle was alright too. Jungle was alright. He ain't no slouch. Jungle was alright. He was nice. He was nice, Ashley. You had MOP. Let's not forget about them. They didn't give a chance to blow. MOP. I could not stand MOP when I was in high school. And this is the time we talking about we talking about some of their biggest records in 2002, 2003. I could not stand MOP. Literally 4 years ago, I went down an MOP rabbit hole. And oh my God. It was literally like having new ears. Lyrically, production-wise, the feeling, because I remember the late 90s, early 2000s as a kid, and appreciating it more as a grown man. MOP is one of the very best that we have. Period. If we go record for record, and this is why I said early in the podcast, I don't view success barely on just success on sales, because somebody could be successful because the package, they look the part, it feels like they the part, right? And then they have that one good song that they've been playing on TV, or the video on TV, they've been playing the song on the radio, in the club, you go buy the album, it's the one song, but the rest of the album is ass. MOP, in my opinion, wasn't packaged correctly in the time that they came out. They keep it straight hood, which no problem with that, but they needed to be packaged better, because the music in itself was crazy. The production was crazy. And the bars, the First of My Last is one of my favorite songs ever. The First and My Last by MOP. Fire. They even got a joint with Memphis Bleak on Bleak album. Fire. This is why I don't equivalate artists being great by just the sales. Nah. And that's why I give MOP even more credit, because I went back to listen to that music as a grown man, and it hit even better than me. You can hear me coming down the street bumping MOP today. Did I play MOP? No, I played it yesterday. Coming down the street bumping MOP. So it's funny that you said MOP. My dog Tom, what did he say? Ella was the guy. For me, pause. That my brother taught me how to get them girls. Taught me how to get them girls the way he dressed, the way I dress. Had to get that chain, had to get that Kango. Was rocking Troops and Fellas. Ashley, this is why you can't say I don't like that unless you really listen to it. But most of all, given it a chance, our society is quick to throw everything away when they don't like it. Shout out to Washida. We got Washida in the building. Yeah, peace and love, Ashley. Lovechild. Appreciate Washida for tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Appreciate y'all. I'm big on that today too. Today's music, to me personally, people like to say, oh, we don't got a lot of great music today. That's wrong. We don't have a lot of great music that people force on you. The music that is forced on you, yeah, that shit is baby shit, for sure. But you still have a lot of dope artists who are independent, that drop that pain, that drop that fire. You just gotta find it. And when you do find it, support it. When they drop videos, they drop a song, they drop a single or an album, support that shit. Buy the CD, buy the vinyls, go stream that shit wherever that is, wherever it's available. Go do that shit. But you got dope artists still today. I honestly believe that. I don't know, maybe because I'm tapped in, but y'all tapped in is probably just as much as me, if not more, because y'all on social media just like me. We all on social media. So there's dope artists all over the place, but the artists that they force on us, and I'm not gonna say no names, yeah, that shit is baby dog shit. Yeah, it's baby shit, for sure. Yes, absolutely, for sure. But again, like y'all heard me say this before. We no longer live in a world where gatekeepers control and give us the music. We don't rely on gatekeepers. So go on social media, go on your Instagram, go on your SoundCloud. Don't make fun of it. Go on in and support it. That's the only difference. The difference between the music business back in the 90s is that people bought albums because people used to put out albums. But in order to put an album out, real talk, you either had to be a part of a major or a part of an independent that had a relationship with companies that were actually allow for your album to come out. That is an absolute fact. That's one of the things I've always loved about my independent label. We always was able to create relationships and put albums out, put music out, created our own shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't take the major deal. Nah, I saw all them subtractions. Like, yeah, this is your budget, and this is what you gonna get. Yeah, 4 albums, and they pay you one time. But it's cool though. Keep it cool, Ash. Just keep it cool. We're gonna pay your lawyers. You know, the management is gonna come out of your bread. All the features we gonna get, right? We're gonna hook you with some features. Yeah, that's coming out of your joint too, right? And then mind you, they gonna reject some of the features just so they don't think I knew enough, so they can keep the money and to go buy them like a new car or something like that. Because some of the unused money is supposed to go back to my account, but some people and some you know, some of the people that work for the labels were so slick that they know how to funnel the money and be like, oh yeah, we using this for a video. And got whole new bands on and like, nah. My lawyer said just like this, yo, would you rather split 7 figures 20 ways or 6 figures one way? That was an easy one for me. And it led to this. It was an easy one for me, and it led to this. My own UPC code, all that, the ISRC code, all that. It led to that. You know what I'm saying? Let's hit the streets, baby. Let's get the support, you heard? And I just let the music be the music. So, yeah, you know, it's real out here. It's real out here. Shout out, that's so true. They do force what they want on us. Yeah, and a lot of people who are my contemporaries or you know people doing the same thing I did. A lot of those guys at that time that did sign record labels, they don't have the power to drop music. That's why when you see an artist and you're like, damn, what happened to this artist? They were so dope. They were so popping at one time. Why they stopped making music? They can't. They can't make music. They can't put the music out because they still owe the label that they was on. And because that account still exists, guess what? They own the rights to your music. Yeah, homeboy, you can't just sign with another label and drop some music. Nah, you owe us bread. And when people owe hundreds of thousands to maybe millions, you never seen them again. Never. Even if they was publicly released, right? So there's a difference between being on the active roster and being on the label financially. If you're on the label financially still, you still owe. That doesn't mean they have to publicly say you're a part of the current roster. You know, the music business is the music business. It's not a game. They got into bad contracts. It's sad. That's a fact. That's what I'm saying. So a lot, and then mind you, the finesse at the time, if you did not sign those contracts, you was not considered popping. Oh, you independent? Yeah, that's not popping. That's not big enough. If you're not part of Jay-Z crew, 50 Cent crew, P. Diddy crew, this crew, that crew, yeah, nah, people ain't gonna take it serious. They call you a whole struggle. How the fuck I'm a struggle or somebody else is a struggle that's independent when you get real love from the people, even though it's not a million people, but it's real love from the people, and live a better lifestyle. Then I got 2 nickels to rub together. But yeah, shout out to you. You got a song with Diddy. But how much did you make on that song? Oh, nothing, because you don't got none of the rights, huh? Okay. Kudos to you, though. Kudos to you. It made no sense, right? So, again, y'all, it was just, the music business is a music business. Difference between the game and the business. All right, so moving on to our next segment, our Michael Jackson Awards. Y'all already know I do Michael Jackson Awards to a profile artist, whether they're new or old, hip hop, R&B, soul, gospel, reggae, no matter of the genre. I profile the artists because they're popping and they're fire. So tonight's profile artist is R&B artist Chris Walker. I know most of y'all have never heard of Chris Walker. Again, another independent guy, Chris Walker. Fire music. Fire music. Another independent artist who was popping when it wasn't popular to be independent, but had great fire music. So he's my profile artist for tonight. And my first Michael Jackson award goes to his song, Call Me. It's a fire song, so make sure y'all go tap into it. Second Michael Jackson award is I Will Always Love You. And third Michael Jackson award goes to Love Tonight. Again, the profile artist is Chris Walker, and all of these are his songs. Y'all can go look it up, put it on y'all playlist after the show. Again, number one, his song Call Me. Number two, I Will Always Love You. And number three, his song Love Tonight. Make sure y'all go put those three songs on your playlist and thank me later. This is fire music right here. Top tier music that y'all getting right here. So again, the artist's name is Chris Walker. Make sure y'all go tap into that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know, man, we're about to get on that flight and send them the turkey or nah, send them the turkey or nah. Y'all know the rules of the game. We type in T to send it to turkey, or we type it in not to send it to turkey. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, you can put not turkey, no turkey, in turkey, or turkey, or the vice versa. So again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. So first one of the night, and send them to turkey. Things got heated in the Detroit newsroom when an anchor woman, Taryn Asher, loses her cool and calling her producer a bitch. Can I please? The producer said to her they was having like a back and forth while they was on air, or right before they was on air, and the producer felt like she couldn't get a word out edgewise and felt like she got cut off. And the producer said to Tara, "Hey, can I finish, please? Can I please finish what I was going to say?" And basically, the anchor woman responded with, "Well, say what you was gonna say. Grow up. Like, I'm so done with her antics, telling on me every 5 seconds." It was very passive aggressive, might I add. And one of the other producers had to talk to her to calm her down right before they went on air. It got smoky. I will say that. So it was kind of funny seeing that that type of profession had problems too, and I thought that was quite interesting. It reminded me of the movie of what's the movie with T.C. Carson? Oh my God, Living Large. If y'all remember Living Large, and T.C. Carson was an anchor man. It kind of took me to there. So let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending the anchor lady to Turkey? Are we sending anchor lady to Turkey? Again, the anchor lady name was Taryn Asher, and she loses her cool. And this is a Detroit newsroom, as her and the producer was basically having a little words. A shout out to my dog Tom. Yes, I know Chris Walker. I believe he's from Houston. Yes, 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 yes. So yeah. So you all right? So bets. So a lot of people don't know who Chris Walker is because again, he's not like super duper famous. But people associate super duper famous with being successful. You see what I'm saying? Like, he's a success because he got great music and is impactful. He doesn't need to sell out millions, but we know people that sold out millions that music is ass because they know how to package it. So, but yeah, shout out to Chris Walker, who was the profile artist for tonight's show. But let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending this to Turkey or not? Are we sending this to Turkey or not? Let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. Me personally, I gotta send it to Turkey. I have to send this to Turkey mainly because where's the professionalism? Sometimes the best response is the professional response. Sometimes you have to allow people to be certified dickheads in their own mess. If the producer was passive aggressive herself and you match it with more passive aggressiveness, that just let them know that they got to you. And I know that's easier said in the moment because, hey, I'm King Petty myself. Like, you know, and like, what? Huh? So I get it. But you're dealing with this person every day in that particular space. We're talking about the newsroom space. And you think that carries some sort of higher elevated air in the sense of the professionalism and how you want to be remembered working with the crew, working with the producer, because you depend on those people, right? To bring a tight show, to make sure that the prompter is on point, make sure the timing is on point, make sure the cut-ins is on point, and the type of protection that you will need from producers when you're dealing with shows. Because when you have a channel, those producers are producers of different parts of the channel. So you're going to continuously to work with them. It's not like they just, you have a situation and you're not going to work with them again. So the chances of you working with the same producer again and again is very high. So it would behoove the parties to piece it up. You can have your moment, but it will create an atmosphere where it's a bit uneasy. And when somebody has the power of an anchor woman or an anchor man, that has its own power all in itself if you have the people tuning and tapping in. Now, if you have a great producer, that power struggle and dynamic could be a bit, for lack of a better word, difficult. And not just for each other, but the set. So I have to send her to Turkey regardless, because this is probably not the first time that they get it. Matter of fact, she said it. She's like, she was tired of basically the producer constantly telling on her. So there's a history there that should have been pieced up a long time ago. And hey, who like, where's the boss at? Why the owner of the situation is not putting belt to ass to this situation? Because this is kind of stupid. This is kind of stupid. Two adults, and y'all putting on the news. So keep it cool. But you're gonna need the owner to come in there and situate that, period. Shout out to the chat. No Turkey, she's standing on business. Newsroom are absolute pressure cooking, but this is a massive HR nightmare. You can't tell your boss what the F grow up and expect to keep your job. So some people that work jobs and careers, they don't care. Once they feel like they good, they're gonna talk to their boss any kind of way because they feel like they can leverage their talent. If people are that good and you have a reputation that you're difficult to work with, now it becomes, is their talent worth working with them? Because tolerance is low. Tolerance is low. Some people overestimate their talent, and they overestimate the tolerance that people are willing to put up with you when you're not professional. So that goes hand in hand. So shout out to that in the chat. Shout out to, who's that? Ebony. Shout out to Ebony in the chat. So that goes hand in hand. I will agree with that. That goes hand in hand. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next. Send them to Turkey or nah. Send them to Turkey or nah. Question. Is passing gas a fireable offense to break up in a relationship? Again, is passing gas a fireable offense to break up in a relationship? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I asked this question mainly because I'm not gonna lie, I've heard several other people speak on this different subject matter. I've heard Shannon Sharpe in particular say that he broke up with women in his past, basically for passing gas in front of him, right? And honestly, I can't be mad at that, mainly because we all have our own preferences, right? But this question is not about Shannon Sharpe. This is a general question. Is passing gas in front of your partner, is it a fireable offense? meaning like they no longer could be your girl, and for the ladies that no longer could be your dude. For guys and women, I think women accept it more because men, we are supposed to be, we're not supposed to stink, but if we're stinking, if we're farting, it's like kind of accepted, right? But me personally, as a man in any relationship I've been in, honestly, if I feel it coming, I'm walking out the room. That's just me personally. I don't want my woman to, even though it's a natural thing, just to hear me, farting all over the place and one of them silent killers. Nah. I want to preserve the sexy at all times. That's just me personally. Now, is it a fireable offense if a woman farts around me or passes gas around me? For me, it is. For me, it is. And it's not necessarily the passing gas. It's the consideration. It's the common decency. But I also think it's not case by case, but it's case by case. Like if we in the bed and we knocked out and it's the middle of the night and she passed that little bubble, it'd be like, all right, especially if that ass is tooted up on the other side of the bed, yeah. But if she got that ass on me, if I'm playing big spoon and I feel that vibration and I know it wasn't sexual, it's just straight gas, that shit will be a big turn off. It's like, whoa. Secondly, all the relationships I've been in, all the relationships, not some, not a few, all the relationships I've been in, the women I've dated, the women that I've had long-term relationships with, they made it their business, and it wasn't even a conversation. They made it their business to preserve the sexy. And what do that mean? If they had to go, if they had to pass gas, they went to do it in another room, in the bathroom or whatever the case may be. They wasn't doing that around me like just, just busting them down. Like, it's like, where's the consideration at? You know what I'm saying? Like, preserve the sexy. You know what I'm saying? That's just me personally. So is that a fireable offense to me? I'm going to say yes because of the lack of consideration. You're not trying to preserve the sexy. And, like, how much do you really like me for real? If you just up here just cracking farts and laughing at it. I had an ex that did that, and I got rid of her. She thought it was funny. She didn't think it was funny when I got rid of her, but she thought it was funny when she passed gas at the time and was cracking up. She thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And I'm like, yo, like, nah. So to me, it's definitely a fireable offense in my opinion. Shout out to the chat. Y'all cracking up in the chat. I seen that in the chat. Shout out to my dog CC. He cracking up. Shout out, salute, Ash. My dog CC motion in the building. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. You already know it helps with the growth of the show. CC, stay engaged. But yeah, shout out to Ebony. Of passing gas, a fireable offense. 99% of marriages in America are going down in flames. I'm dead. Shout out to CC for that. Appreciate you for tuning and tapping in. The Ebony, I said CC. Ebony had made that statement. But yeah, to me, it's just, where's the sexy? Where's the sexy? Like, preserve the sexy in a relationship. To me, preserving the sexy matters. Especially when y'all both got your own motion. You doing something all day, she doing something all day. The last thing you want to do by the time y'all see each other, y'all want to rip each other clothes off. Y'all want to get to it. Y'all want to have some sexy time. You gonna kill the sexy time if you busting farts and all stink bombs. Like nah, I'm cool. Like preserve the sexy. That to me has never been sexy, even if it is a natural thing. Go into the next room and do your do. And do your do. I've been on dates where I felt like I had the little gas bubble. I was like, yo, I gotta make a phone call real quick. You know what I'm saying? I'll be right back, and I'm gonna handle my situation and then come back. You know what I'm saying? You gotta preserve the sexy, because imagine being on a date and you just up there you just chunking them, just going crazy all night. Like how she like and in my mind, right? If I'm sitting here busting farts later on, when it's time to do the do, all she gonna think is egg foo young down in my drawers. Like I'm trying to get to the sexy. You know what I'm saying? We gotta preserve that, and that goes vice versa. It goes vice versa. Ladies love the I like a man to eat my butt, but there's a lot of women out here talking about they want to get their butt ate, but they don't even practice in what's the word I'm looking for? They don't practice even in damn. What's the word, y'all? What's the term? They don't practice oh my god, I can't think of the word, y'all. Shout out to y'all in the chat. Y'all gonna probably think of it before me, but they don't even do fasting. You want somebody to eat your butt, but you don't fast. So you eating burgers, all types of dairy, busting farts, and you want somebody to eat your butt. Got dookie particles all over that thing, and you want somebody to eat your butt. Nah, no, Preserve the sexy. Preserve the sexy. It ain't a bigger turnoff than as a man, you taking off a woman's drawers and you going down in the blesser, not to the butthole, but to the front. And you going down there to give a little, you know what I mean? And this egg foo young coming out her drawers. Count me out. Count me out. Ma'am, you have a meeting, soap, water, wash rag in the bathroom. Immediately. Me personally, I've stopped the whole sexual motion because like I wasn't expecting this. You got a lot on your mind. It's time for me to go. So yes, passing gas is a fireable offense when you're dealing with somebody. Again, it's case by case in the sense of if it's in the middle of the night, she got that ass tooted up on the other side of you, alright, cool. You ain't breaking up with somebody over that. But if it's big spoon, little spoon, and you felt the vibrations like you've been uppercutted by Ryu or Ken, then it's time to have a conversation. You could have easily got up and took that to the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Could have easily done that. And you know when your partner done farted a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've been with somebody and they farted a little bit and you get in the covers. And you're like, oh, y'all, you trying to sneak on before I got in the covers. This thing carrots going on. What's going on, baby? Like, go to the bathroom with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to try to preserve the sexy as always. You know what I'm saying? That's just me personally. But yes, to me, I'm sending it to Turkey because it's a fireable offense, in my opinion. Y'all are cracking up in the damn chat. I love it. I love it when y'all cracking up in the chat. I'm not going to hold y'all. I love it. I love it. Y'all are cracking up in the chat. Y'all are cracking up in the chat. Shout out to Rashida. Y'all are cracking up in the damn chat. Again, shout out to CC Motions. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to Ebony. Y'all are cracking up in the damn chat, man. Y'all are super duper funny. Shout out to y'all. Free that gut, laughing my ass off. I ain't no free that gut. Go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom. Preserve the sexy. Preserve the sexy. That shit matters, yo. That shit matters. Imagine dating somebody so fond of you. They so fond. Whether you man or woman, and your stomach is bubbling, and you had to get one off, and the person that you like, and you think they so sexy, you want them to look at you like a sexual being and everything like that, and they walk into one of them silent ones, and you like, damn. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't sexy, but it is a part of the human. You know, but it's a way like, yo, let me go handle that real quick. Shout out to Keesaw, my dog Keesaw. There's a way to go handle that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all in the chat. Not Turkey for passing gas, but yes, shitting on yourself. Yo, if you shit on yourself, don't call me no more. Don't call me no more. We in the restaurant, we on a date, and you just, like, you boo-booed on yourself? Nah, don't call me no more. And I'm going to leave you at the restaurant. There's a good chance I'm going to leave you. You can't get back in my car with shitty jeans, drawers, shorts, skirt. It's not happening. Leggings. It's not happening. You can't get back in the car. No. Oh, no. Oh no, shout out to Keesaw. There's a massive difference between accidental slip and someone lifting their leg on the couch like it was a like it's a competitive sport. Bro, I agree. And I guess attention does matter. If you attended to the way you did it and how you did it, that matters too. But it definitely knocks the sexy off. It definitely does. It definitely does. I don't care what nobody say. Ladies, I'm pretty sure if you've been with a dude and y'all get all sexy, took them drawers off, and he smell like egg foo young, I'm pretty sure y'all like, nah. I know what it's like to be with a woman and she take them drawers off and it's like, you know what? I gotta go. You got a lot on your mind, man. You have bigger issues. We are not a good connection. This is not gonna happen. No. Smell like egg foo young. Why does it? Like, what's going on? What Silk said? You got a meeting in my bedroom? No, you got a meeting in the bathroom. Soap, water, washcloth, towel. Make sure what Soldier Boy say, crank that. Yeah, get all up in there. Get good up in there. And again, it'd be so funny. Some women talking about they want to get their butt ate, but they don't practice fasting. You eating every day, man. So you tooting that thing every day in the toilet, and you want somebody to eat your butt? Yeah, nah, I'm cool. Mad dookie particles. Nah, I'm cool. Nah, I'm straight. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know it's about that time, and it's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get to find us some movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Again, that's the word buttons, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. I want to send out, first one of the night, I want to send out a special rest in peace to Hayden Panettiere, a 36-year-old actress. She was such a great actress. She's always been a standout in acting. Always been a standout in acting. So rest in peace again to Hayden Panettiere. I hope I said the last name correctly. But y'all mostly know her. For people that don't know who I'm saying by name, she was in Scream 4. She was in Law and Order. She was in the Heroes show, the Nashville show. She played the little girl on Remember the Titans, where she was Coach Yoke's daughter. And at 36 years old, she passed away. She went into cardiac arrest. Sources are saying that it could be to chronic drug use. They still investigating, and she was also with her boyfriend they had a very turbulent history. He did time in jail for punching her in the face, and she was with him when she passed. So they're still doing their investigations and whatnot. But at the end of the day, again, she was such a bright light, such a shining star, a standout in everything that she did, whether it was movies, whether it was TV shows. I watched the show the other day on Law and Order, and I forgot she was in this episode, and she bodied the role in Law and Order. She was like a little kid in Law and Order. Like literally, she had to be about like 8, 9 years old, and she bodied that role on Law and Order. So again, shout out to her, such a standout and a great actress. Rest in peace again to Hayden Panettiere. So again, shout out to her and condolences to her family. All right, y'all. First hot topic of the night. An arrest affidavit alleges that 67-year-old Alex Caruso sexually abused a child younger than 12 multiple times over the last 2 years. The Palm Beach County Clerk of Court comptroller was arrested Tuesday on child sexual abuse and charges according to the Florida Attorney General office and court documents. Uh, the charge documents shows that Caruso was someone that the victim's parents trusted to be along with the child, and then the parents noticed the child exhibiting inappropriate behavior is basically how they, found out that the child was going through something around this man. So again, this is Alex Caruso, who happens to be the Palm Beach County Clerk of Court Controller, was arrested based on these allegations and charges. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to Keeshaw RMP, to Hayden, a great actress, that's a fact. Right, she played in Heroes. Yes, fasting. Oh, going back to what I said before, the fasting. Washida, I don't want to hear what they're saying. She was only 36, but you got monsters still still alive at 80. Thing ain't right. Yeah, so going back real quick to Hayden, I definitely agree with that. She's been a standout actress ever since she was a little kid. And the scary thing about child actors, they're around adults. They're not around other kids. And it's just so crazy. Like, to me, acting is not predatory. The industry is predatory. The people that you put around it is predatory. And how they look at some of these kids is just crazy. So that's what I'm saying. They still doing their investigation. As far as Alex Caruso and his alleged sexually abuse charge to a child younger than 12 years old multiple times in the last 2 years, this is egregious. And to me, like, these charges don't come out of thin air. Now, sometimes also, the very rare occasions, people are lying. The very rare occasions, people do lie. When somebody has a certain amount of money, when they have a certain prestige, they automatically believe. They don't want this in court. They don't want this to get public, even if they're guilty or not. Especially if they don't feel like they're guilty, they just rather pay the money just to keep this out of the press, just to keep them from even going to court, because your name matters, being attached to this matters. But in the court of opinion, most people, when you do a payout, the people outside of that is not going to think you're doing it because you're truthful. The mindset of most people to pay out is somebody that's guilty. That's how we really look at it. They paying out because they're guilty. And they don't want this to get any bigger than what it is, right? That's not always the case. But the norm is people would pay to keep things quiet because that's what type of time they on. And when people are scamming, people know that. So the bigger the target, sometimes it could go either way, but they have some evidence that is basically leading up to Alex Caruso being arrested and him, having these allegations based with this child. I think it's absolutely imperative that people know who they're around. It's absolutely imperative. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you was born in the 60s, 70s, 80s, somewhat 90s, majority of the kids born at that time can tell you or remember a time where they was once sexually abused by somebody older than them that had no business being around them, had no business having access to them, but because the family trusts them, because the energy, you would have never thought that this person move and groove like that, right? We all have a story like that. My first sexual experience was with an older woman. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. But was she wrong? Absolutely. Absolutely. But how can I tell my family? I'm kind of like not embarrassed, but embarrassed. My mother would have probably took her head off. You know, my dad would have probably wanted to press charges, and kind of feeling like it's your fault, it's my fault, right? So I think we all have a story like that moving forward, and the reason why I mention that is because we don't vet people properly. We don't. And it's going back since the beginning of time, because we, in our community, we really look at people like family, even though whether it's a family member or a relative or somebody you look at family, you just never know where that shit will come from. Whether it's auntie, uncle, cousin, big cousin, you know, an estranged relative, somebody that lived down the hall, and they don't look at you like a kid. They look at you, you know, more grown, and they probably went through the same thing themselves. So it's learned behavior, and hurt people hurt people. So in this particular case, though, dude, like, he should have known better. He should have known better. At 67 years old, your frontal lobe didn't develop, dog. Why put that type of hurt on the child? And I don't get this. Like, most people that engaged in this is one thing I don't get. These people, like, be popping. They be popping. And what I mean by popping, like, he has a very high, powerful position. 67 years old, grown man, well-groomed. The line of women is through the roof, dog. Believe it or not. When you're a man in your 60s, you well-groomed, you got a good position, making great money, you ain't gonna have a lack of women looking to jump into bed with you. You're not gonna lack that, bro. There's gonna be plenty of 40-year-old, 50-year-old, shit, 30-year-old women that's gonna toot that thing up. It's gonna be plenty of them. When you're a grown-ass man and you got it popping, when you got a great job, you know, a good name for yourself, and you keep yourself well-groomed, I just don't understand. When you have that for you, you go to the babies. I just don't understand that. I've never understood that. Like, even when I was in junior high school, I never understood the guys that came from my high school, or came from the nearby high school, to come back to the junior high to talk to junior high school girls. I never understood that. When I was in junior high school, I never went back to my elementary school to look for the elementary girls. Nah, I wanted the junior high, the high school girls, college girls, you know. That's what I wanted. When I got to high school, I never went back to my junior high school looking for junior high school girls. I wanted the high school girls, I wanted the college girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of and now I'm in college. I went to my high school about like 3 or 4 times when I got to college. And I went back to the high school to see my football coach. Not to holler at no high school girl. Ain't no high school girl got any stories of me coming back to my high school, be like, yeah, he tried to talk, Ash tried to talk to me. Oh, the hell what for? I'm into grown women, you know what I'm saying? When you're in college, you want college women and grown women. Like, you still barely learn how to clean your underwear, you know what I'm saying? You barely learn how to clean your butt. I want a woman. I want thighs. I want ass. I want breasts. I want that body. Yeah. So I don't understand how these men in these prominent positions that you have a multitude of women around you, grown women, and believe it or not, fellas, when women get in their 40s, they get horny as hell. You be like, man, we just got it cracking twice. We got in a solid 45 minutes. 45 minutes of pumping. That's a long time. And you getting good strokes too. You know what I'm saying? Good quality strokes. 45 minutes. You in here screaming, you in here pulling your hair, all that, right? Good. And now you ready to go a half an hour from now. You ready to go. I'm ready. Wait a minute, man. This ain't, you know what I'm saying? You just don't whip this up. You know what I mean? Good, horny women in their 40s. If you're a 67-year-old man, hey, 30 women in their 30s, and they want you 67, you pop and go get it. But Come on, 12 and under, bro? Nah, man. Nah. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, nah, nah. And me personally, I'm not even like a age person. Like if you're an adult, you're an adult. But this is a baby. This is a baby. Nah, I'm not jacking this at all. I'm not jacking this at all. Me personally, uh, with all the evidence that's mounting, I hope he gets caught, and I hope he go to jail. I do. And all of this right now is alleged. But again, when they have you like this, like to me, the alleged to me, it don't be alleged. They say alleged just in case, like people just trying to cover their ass when they say alleged. I will say that. Shout out to Washida, and he's a clerk. He's a court clerk. The way these predators be put in these positions, this stuff is triggering for me. I've learned how to keep my cool. Uh, Shout out to Washida. Hold up, why it won't let me? Okay, now it's letting me go back up. Okay. Okay, now all right. It's so sad when a grown up don't know what's really happening and don't believe you, and you tell them shaking my effing head. Uh, 67, he's a monster, and they all knew it. I believe that too. I honestly believe when people get caught doing stuff like this, somebody knew. This is it's never like, oh, they really did that. Like somebody always know. Somebody always know, but they fear the position that they're in, and they don't want to miss out on no checks. I believe that too, because there's no way you're 67 years old and you get caught for doing this now. So you don't. So you mean to tell me this person don't have a history of doing this? They just wait till they get into their 60s to do it for the first time? Yeah, nah, miss me on that. So I agree with you on that, Washida. That's a fact. That's a fact. They all knew it. I agree with you on that. It don't matter what you say. There are apex predators here on Earth with us. Be aware of it. Don't sleep on what happens to that little boy. Shit is real. Remember, y'all. I would like to say more so predators, because you know apex predators go after predators, right? When somebody is a predator, another predator comes after them. That's what apex predator mean, right? But I get the point that you're making is like, yo, people are so just egregious in who they will go after, right? Most times when people go after, people in a sense, they go after people that can't fight. That apex predator goes after people that can fight. That's what you call somebody in jail. They're like, yeah, I'm taking that. Like, shit, you not. I do the taking, and I'm gonna take you. That's an apex predator. So this person in itself, he's just a super duper predator. Super duper predator. Super, and it's crazy how words change throughout time. I remember TLC dropped a song called "Creep" or "Creeping," cause I creep, and that was kind of like a term of like, I won't say a term of endearment, but when people say, "Yo, I'm a creep," it mean like, "Yo, I do my shit on the low low." You know what I'm saying? But it was always implied when somebody's a creep that they're creeping with somebody their age. It's just like, yo, when their boyfriend leaves, I slide in, right? For a lady, when his girl leave, I'ma slide in. So you have people who are creeps because they creeping on the low low with people that are their same age. But now, like, creep has another adaptation of being creepy. Like, oh, he's creepy. He likes me and I don't like him, right? But creep used to actually be a thing where two people liked each other. It's just that, yo, they got to do it on the low low, right? So it's funny how words take on different adaptation regarding that. So honestly, it's just sad. You would think the hiring process, they'll do their hiring process, the hiring process, do their due diligence on people in certain positions. Shout out to Keyshaw. That's a fact. That's a fact. Shout out to Washida. They don't want a lady. Be aware. Shout out to Keyshaw. Send them to Turkey. Yeah, at the end of the day, most men, excuse me, let me rephrase that. Most predators, because predators could go men and women, right? Men and women. They're going to try to do it with somebody that won't say anything, that has a connection with them that they feel like is bigger than anybody else. Meaning like, yo, regardless of what we do in the dark, you're never going to tell on me because you don't want to see me hurt, right? So don't tell on me. So they think they have that connection with that kid so much to the point where they won't tell their deeds and stuff like that, right? And sometimes most of these people pick kids based on lack of confidence, right? You know I care about you. Nobody else gonna care about you the way I care about you. So you shouldn't tell on me. And that's now if I go away, then you're not gonna have nobody to look after you and care for you. That's how these people mindset be. I see a movie called Ashanti with Beverly Johnson, her first movie, and there was a character, and it was so troubling to me watching this movie, but there was a character where the boy looked like a girl, and Beverly Johnson character was kidnapped. So they taking them on an excursion. So the dudes is looking at Beverly Johnson. And if you know who Beverly Johnson is, she played Miss Trinidad on the show Martin, right? She played in How to Be a Player. She's a beautiful woman, right? And this is her in her early 20s. So in the movie, they looking at her like a steak dinner. And they like, yo, the shirts are circling. And the one dude say, yo, if y'all touch her, I'm gonna murk all of y'all in here. This is one of the kidnappers telling the other kidnappers, if you touch her, I'm gonna murk all of y'all in here. The other kidnappers say, yo, but what about the boy? The boy? What you mean, what about the boy? What about the boy that looked like a girl? The dude said, yo, I don't care what you do with him. Don't touch her. And then the very next scene, they took the boy, and then, obviously it suggested that the boy was assaulted because he came back walking a certain way, and you know what I'm saying? You can hear the struggle, right? But it was implied that he was, you know what I'm saying? And then later in the movie, the person that abused him is coming back to give him treats and like, yeah, I did it because I love you. I care for you for real. No, you a damn predator. You a damn predator. And the kid set him up to be unalive, as he should, because the dude was a damn predator. But he played on that mentality where it's like, yo, I care about you. You got low self-esteem. Nobody gonna protect you the way I protect you. Yeah, I did it to you, but nobody else is doing it to you. So I'm protecting you. So it's that mentality. That's how predators move, is that mentality. So I hope this guy gets what he got coming to him and they prove their case. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Detroit public schools are now paying high school kids and middle school kids from $100 to $50 a week for having perfect attendance. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, Detroit public schools are now paying high school and middle school students $100 to $50 a week for having perfect attendance. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. So again, the high school kids is getting $100, junior high school kids are getting $50. So we got to a point where we're paying kids to come to school. This is where we're at in the education system. You're paying kids to come to school. I grew up in a wrong era, bro. I'm like low key jealous, bro. If you've been a kid in this COVID era, you don't go to school as much as I did. I'm hating right now. You don't go to school as much as I did. Y'all getting all the NIL deals in high school, and now y'all getting paid some extra bread just to attend school, just to have perfect attendance. Like, to me, that's crazy. Like, that's like lean on me on 1,000 right now. That's crazy. I've never heard of nothing like that. When I seen the story, I had to do more due diligence to the story to make sure, like, because I've never heard of that. I was like, there's no way. Maybe they give the kids $100 for the semester. Like, say the whole semester then passed by and they had perfect attendance. You probably have about like 5 or 6 kids that have perfect attendance the whole semester, and you hook them up with like $100 gift card or something like that. Okay, I can possibly see that, right? But that's not a mandatory thing, right? But this is a thing. This is weekly. This is weekly for the Detroit school system, which is crazy. So this is where we at with our education system. It's kind of like a joke where you have to pay kids to come to school. Just come to school. And I've said this before. When you want kids to really learn, it's self-accountability for one on the student. The parent needs to reinforce it, and the teacher needs to teach it. Or vice versa. The parent needs to teach it, and the teacher needs to reinforce it. Either way, as long as the kid gets the lesson, right? Because there's 3 ways that we all learn. Whether you write it out, act it out, or whether you read it out. Some people do well on all 3. Some people do well at 2. But we all do well at either one of those. So the fact that you have to pay the kids $100 in high school or $50 in junior high school a week just to have, like, having perfect attendance, like, to me, when the bottom gonna fall out? That's what I want to know. When the bottom gonna fall out? Because that's like saying, like, real talk, that's like saying, yo, we got gym every day. And again, that's another thing that I kind of hate, because kids today get gym basically like 3 times a week. When I was a kid, we got gym once a week, whether it's that Wednesday or whether it was that Thursday for 1 hour. And in that 1 hour, we went absolutely crazy. We had it planned. We had seasonal basketball games, playoffs. We had it scripted for our time, for gym time, because we got it once a week. But now these kids getting it 3 times a week. So basically, if you're telling the kid, yo, we'll give you $50 a week if you're in junior high school and you have perfect attendance, what else would a junior high school kid be? So I wonder when the bottom gonna fall out on this, because all the kids are gonna be in school. High school, the bottom will fall out. You see more kids in school to get that $100. Yo, this is where we at. Shout out to the chat. I'm like kind of like a loss for words. Shout out to Rashida. Yeah, I remember Beverly. I remember her, Beverly Johnson. Yeah, Beverly Johnson was fire. Shout out to Keyshaw. Where was this program when I was dragging my feet to school with the cold back in 2008? Shout out to Keyshaw. All we got for perfect attendance was a piece of paper and a coupon for a free personal pan pizza at Pizza. Y'all got a coupon for personal pan pizza? Yo, you lit. Like, come on. Like, yo, y'all not gonna sit up and ask and tell me that personal pan pizzas wasn't like the thing back in the the 90s and early 2000s. If you got a little personal pan, you got the coupon, that's kind of a good deal. You can't get away from neither. Like, y'all got that too? Damn. Yo, it hit different. Everything is moving faster today than ever before. Yeah, I agree. Shout out to Rashida. I agree with that. I agree with that. But the fact that these kids get an extra $50, and let's keep it real, like, this era of kids grew up with less stress and with less they grew up with less stress and less of the struggle in this era, because majority of us that grew up in the struggle, we didn't have our kids grow up in the struggle. And what do that mean? Our kids could get nice sneakers whenever they want it, for real, right? Their allowance is very good according to, you know, the buying lunch ratio at the school, whether they bought lunch, whether they could get it from the vending machine. Either way, you know what I'm saying? It was good either way, right? So that's the type of struggle that I'm talking about. When we was kids, it was either you was on that school lunch or you wasn't. It was just that simple. You either brought lunch or you had the school lunch. You couldn't get sneakers like how you got sneakers growing up like that for real. My mother like, yo, get the you can either get the 2 for 120 or you get the 1 for 120. Like you could get a nice pair of kicks you could wear to school and the other ones you could play in. Or you could just get 2 nice pairs of sneakers and you could switch it up. Or you could get the one nice one, but the one nice one gotta match everything that you got in your closet. Like my mom used to hit me with all types of logic. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't like a regular thing, right? If the new sneakers came out and it wasn't going back to school and it wasn't like a Christmas vacation, yeah, I ain't even gonna ask her for that, like, or my father for that. So, you know, kids grow up with less struggle. So the fact that they get in, and if you think about it, they kind of making like a little salary just to go to school, just to do something that they supposed to do anyway, is like crazy to me. So at the end of the day, shout out to the school system for doing that. I think it's a bit crazy. I'm a bit jealous that, you know, in Brooklyn, we didn't get that, you know what I'm saying, that shmoney when we was in high school from the school. But it is what it is. Different era, different times. To be honest with you, Ashley, $50 ain't shit today when you got all the stuff going on, not going to be in school in 2030. Everything going to be private. Yeah, I disagree. $50 is a lot of money per week. $50 is a lot of money because we're talking about kids. We're talking about somebody in junior high school that's from the age of 11 to 13 years old. $50 a week is a lot of money, even at today's standard. Because if they get in vending machine, you could get some quality shit out the vending machine, $50 a week. You're in school from Monday through Friday. You getting school lunch, that's free. So it's nothing you can't get for $50 a week that a kid would need. We're not talking about a kid's wants. We're talking about a need. $50 a week from the school, that's a lot of money. And it adds up because you got plenty of students. Shout out to Keysore. These kids are pulling up to class making $400 a month just for showing up crazy times. Shout out to Ashita. We bought, used to be 54.11. They came Jordan style. His sneakers for no more than my grandson. He's 2 years old. His sneakers cost $150 and better. Yeah, but see, again, we're talking about for a 2-year-old child. We're not talking about when they get to the high school. You're not, see, the thing is, when you hit $50 a week, that's not for shopping, right? $50 a week is a lot of money if we're just talking about food for a teenager. And we're talking about from Monday through Friday. And that's from the school. We're not even talking about what the parent is doing. So you get an extra $50 a week for your child just for going to school. That could take care of all their wants and needs. And real talk, if you're a parent that already provides, then the extra $50 a week, hey, yo, save that money. You could save $400 a month. We'll give you a little checking account right now, and you can put that away, and it will add up. Most people can't even save $50 a week, and $50 a week go a long way, a long way. So to me, that's a lot of money, especially for a little kid. Especially that's just an added thing. It's not a necessity. It's an added accessory. So yeah. But I get the point that you're making, that some of these sneakers and stuff like that is very expensive. So I get that. But you're not taking the school lunch money to go buy sneakers is the point that I'm making, right? All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment in Time to Rap. NBA question for all my basketball fans out there. NBA question for all my basketball fans out there. Who had the best crossover ever in NBA history? And when I think of this question, right, there's only a few people that come to mind. Like, let's be real. We've had people that could really like play, right? That could really get it in basketball, that could really play. But we're talking about the best crossover, not the best handle. We're talking about the best crossover, right? So the only people that's not on this list that's even worth mentioning, in my opinion, that's not on this list, is probably Rod Strickland, right? And when y'all hear the list, y'all hear the list. Excuse me, two people, Rod Strickland and I'm gonna say Kenny Anderson. Yeah, definitely Kenny Anderson. Rod Strickland and Kenny Anderson is not on this list, but everybody else that I'm mentioning, is on this list. So let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. So who had the best crossover in NBA history? Allen Iverson, Steve Francis, Jamal Mashburn, Kyrie Irving, Tim Hardaway, Dwayne Wade, Isaiah Thomas, or Jason White Chocolate Williams. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. And the reason why I had to say white chocolate, because there was several Jason Williams in the NBA, but we all know him as White Chocolate is the one that I'm talking about. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Who had the best crossover in NBA history? Again, the candidates is Allen Iverson, Steve Francis, Jamal Mashburn, Kyrie Irving, Tim Hardaway, Dwayne Wade, Isaiah Thomas, and Jason White Chocolate Williams. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. And again, this is for all my basketball lovers like me. Love basketball, love the sport. So yeah. In the chat, I'm seeing AI. They saying AI in the chat so far. I'm seeing AI in the chat. I'm seeing Tim Hardaway in the chat. That's what I'm seeing in the chat so far. AI cross Jordan. Shout out to my dog Ike in the building. My dog Ike Love. Appreciate you for tuning and tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. It helps with the engagement, Ike. So again, we appreciate you for tuning and tapping in and being engaged. So yeah. Okay, so when I think about this, if y'all have ever seen Steve Francis play, Steve Francis had a deadly crossover. Deadly, quick. And we're not talking about handles. We're talking about crossovers. And crossovers was such a thing late 90s, early 2000s. We're seeing what the NBA would not accept in the NBA back in the late 90s, 2000s, in today's NBA. So when people say, oh, this person had the best ever. No, not really. We had people better than that. It's just in the NBA, it wasn't accepted. The first person to change that perception for real was Allen Iverson, because crossovers before then was not necessarily fashionable. It was a move that people used that was an actual tool to score, but Allen Iverson made it fashionable, right? So who had the best? Okay, Jason Williams, White Chocolate. It looks sensational. He crossed Gary Payton something ridiculous on a fast break, but by and large, his crossovers was very deadly. Everybody on this list had the right to claim of this. His crossover was very deadly, and it looked good. It looked like, yo, he bopped him, right? Isaiah Thomas had one of the most severe crossovers ever of all time, and I'm talking about the Isaiah Thomas from the Pistons. Back in the 80s, he was crossing dudes up, and it looked savage-like. Like, it was crazy. Handles is out the wazoo, but we're talking about crossover. Dwayne Wade had a nasty crossover, too. His crossover was more based on speed because he had such a deadly first step. If y'all remember Dwayne Wade before he got hurt, they called him Flash for a reason. So now when he slowed it up just a bit, and hit you with the cross, it was just as deadly. Dudes was dropping on the floor. Dudes was completely missing them. You think of Tim Hardaway, that ting bug, that they said it in the chat, that two-step U-tap. It was a quick crossover, very quick and tight, and he used to catch dudes with it. It was so fast, very effective. Kyrie Irving, We already know Kyrie handles. We're not talking about the handles. The handles. Kyrie handles on a whole nother level. His crossover is just beautiful, right? But I don't think Kyrie has the best crossover, even though I believe his handles and finishing ability is next level. Jamal Mashburn, the king of the Baltimore or DC crossover, where it was kind of high. That's where some of that Iverson it was, when it was like high. It was a higher crossover, right? But Jamal Mashburn was 6'8", and when he used to hit dudes with it, it was something nasty. Grant Hill should have been on this list too, but he's not, you know. But Jamal Mashburn had a nasty crossover too. But I have to go with Allen Iverson. I have to go with Allen Iverson. He made that shit fashionable. He made it fashionable to cross somebody up. High crossover, but Allen Iverson crossover was high and exaggerated. And what that means is it wasn't enough for it to be high. He started shaking with it. Like a snake. If you look at a snake, you could kind of dictate the snake movements by looking at it in his eyes. So he look you in the eye, just shake with it. So now he put the high crossover with the shake. Then mind you, Allen Iverson had a hell of a first step. If he get it and go, you had to respect it. So now you have to respect what? The crossover. So now you had to respect both sides. You had to respect the crossover, his first step, and the crossover again. So to me, Allen Iverson had the best crossover in NBA history. That's me personally, because he was effective, he scored on it, and it was a move that was, no matter who he went against, whether it was a top-tier defender, it was an equalizer. Whether somebody was taller than him, which most of the guards guarding Allen Iverson, who was a point guard, was taller than him. Most of the guards that guard Allen Iverson was point guards, and they was taller than him. Allen Iverson is listed as 6 foot, but he's not really 6 foot. Like, he's like 5'10", 5'11", and he's super duper athletic, could dunk. But again, that crossover, his quickness was the equalizer for creating space, whether he's going to the basket or he's going to step back on you or he's just going to pull up. So to me, Allen Iverson has the best crossover in NBA history. Shout out to the chat. Y'all going in the chat. Remember, y'all hit them likes, hit the 100s, y'all. It does help with the growth of the show. He said, AI crossed Jordan. That's a fact. I remember when he crossed Jordan. He actually crossed them twice on the same play. Keyshaw Hardaway didn't need to palm the ball or carry it either. His handle was 100% textbook and lethal. That's a fact. That's a fact. And like I said, it was tight. It was tight and quick. I don't know, but I think I heard Allen Iverson had a good crossover. Yeah, Allen Iverson crossover took the game to a whole nother level because they started commercializing the crossover. That's where you get, for real, the mixtapes. You remember the mixtapes back in the early 2000s, the And1 mixtapes? That was because of Allen Iverson's style, because it was so commercial. It wasn't so commercial. It was so street that his style made it commercial because he was a marketing machine. Understand this. If Allen Iverson wasn't marketable, they wouldn't let him do that move. Allen Iverson wasn't Jordan in the sense of the Jordan brand, but he's like neck and neck with Michael Jordan at that time. And what that means is Michael Jordan is Jordan, right? But I consider Jordan R&B, right? So he has a different type of bass, right? It's a mega bass, right? But Allen Iverson, he had his own bass that wasn't attached to Jordan, the Reebok brand. And that shit wasn't attached to Jordan. And Allen Iverson, even though he's not Jordan, but in the NBA, when you was a young kid, we was more attached and see ourselves as more Allen Iverson than Michael Jordan. The chances are that most of us is going to be 6'7", and doing what Michael Jordan was doing was like kind of crazy. But Allen Iverson, yo, we could be 5'11", we could be 6 foot, Uber League handles, could shoot, get to the rack, be quick. That was more attainable. That was more attainable. So his style was so commercialized because he was successful. Straight like that. Allen Iverson is the reason why the style of the game changed in the NBA as far as the showmanship and them allowing the showmanship. Before AI, they wasn't allowing the showmanship like that, if at all. To keep it a buck with you, if you was a high flyer, you could dunk. All right, cool. Yeah, show the showmanship. But if you had that bag, that handle bag, yeah, or that crossover bag, yeah, nah. Again, I named guys like Tim Hardaway, Isaiah Thomas. Their crossovers was deadly, but it wasn't marketable because that's not what the NBA wanted to market. But a guy like Allen Iverson, the crossover's a little higher, a little more exaggerated. You got mixtape, street ball going on. You got the N1 mixtapes. You got Rucker Park going crazy. You got other damn, you have other parks and tournaments going crazy. Markability. So I definitely have to go with Allen Iverson myself. Shout out to Washida. Appreciate the love as always, Washida. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. We already know that love is genuine. Shout out to Washida. But yes, I definitely have to go with Allen Iverson. Shout out to Keesaw. Keesaw, he says Hardaway didn't palm the ball or carried it either. His handle was 100% textbook. That's a fact. So shout out to Keesaw. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. Beyonce video have resurfaced of her sitting on the lap of an older producer in order to speak to Michael Jackson at the age of 19 with Destiny's Child. Again, Beyonce, a video resurfaced of Beyonce of her having to sit on the lap of an older producer in order to speak to Michael Jackson at the age of 19 while with a Destiny's Child. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. Appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping in. This in particular, this video has gone viral. This video has gone viral of Beyonce having to sit on the lap of this older producer. And he says to her, you can make things easier by sitting on my lap. And having to speak to Michael Jackson, or not having to speak to anybody who's an artist will want to have a conversation with Michael Jackson if they can have a conversation with Michael Jackson. But the ritual for her to do so, you can tell she was a bit uneasy doing that. And you can also see the inexperience in doing that. 19 years old and kind of not knowing no better. And we've all done things in our teenage years, early 20 years, that we would obviously redo because it's not proper, it don't look good, it's like something's not right, and people don't know or have the language to say, yeah, I'm cool, I'm not doing that just to speak to Mike, like, I'm cool, right? But in that moment, that's what it was, right? For that older producer, this did not age well at all. And the scary part of it, this was a norm back then in those early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. This was the norm. And I'm not saying that Beyonce did anything else that was suggestive or anything else with this particular producer. But in this situation, he did put her in a very awkward position. And the video resurfacing, it looked very cringy. And mind you, he's an adult and she's an adult. But how you did it was what makes it creepy. How you do that is what makes it creepy. You can't ask somebody to see the world and to be an adult and then turn around for them not to take on adult consequences, right? But how he did it was super creepy. And it makes me wonder, like, damn, what was her protection? Where was her dad in that moment? And I know her dad can't be everywhere, but damn, where's her people? They'd be like, yeah, nah, either she could speak to Michael or she can't, bro. Yeah, we're not doing that. But it was very accepted back in the early the 90s and in the early 2000s where this type of creepy shit was going on. But they'll fill up on an artist just so this artist could come up or do something to help their career. And again, I'm not suggesting that he felt up on her, but she sat on his lap. That's very intimate for a woman to sit on a man's lap. That's very intimate. So I'm just saying, and all of this to speak to Michael Jackson, which is probably one of her heroes, if not her biggest hero or biggest influencer. So at the end of the day, this did not age well. This shit was super duper cringy and creepy, in my opinion. Shout out to Keyshaw. Watching this 20 years plus later just highlights how completely blurred the boundaries were in the early 2000s music industry. I completely agree. I completely agree. I just made mention of that. I completely agree. Shout out to QNP. Appreciate you for tapping in. Poppy. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It does help with the growth of the show. Shout out to Keyshaw. He tells her, you want to make things easier, you can just sit on my lap, just to use the phone that was going to be on speakerphone anyway. That great point. Great point, because it's not like she had to pick up the phone to talk to him. Like they put Michael Jackson on speakerphone. And again, that was more so about that producer demonstrating power. It was about that producer demonstrating power. Some things are sexually charged, but majority of these things is due to power. I want to show you this power. We don't necessarily have to go all the way. I'm just flexing my power that I have over you to make you do this in order to get that. Super duper crazy. This is an age well for that producer, but people are getting on Beyonce because she's Beyonce, and all artists have some sort of past. All artists. I posted a video not too long ago where even Lauryn Hill, when she was younger, they had a video posted where she was going around on the beach, grabbing men's crotches, just grabbing their meat, opening their pants and looking inside of it, and grabbing their meat. It's like that shit didn't age well either. Like, people have a past, but in this particular situation, this is about power. For him, it was about power. Yeah, she might be big one day, so yeah, I got the type of power where I could get her to sit on my lap. I had Beyonce sitting on my lap. This is about power. And there's nothing that she could do about it now, years later. Like, this is when she was 19 years old. The only thing she could do now is protect the people that's around her now. Protect Solange, protect Blue Ivory, protect her other children, if they choose to really be in the business for real, and not allowing those things that that she had to endure or go through for certain other things. And I'm not implying anything else. We just talked about that particular situation by itself. Shout out to Keyshaw. He tells her the power dynamics young female artists had to navigate back then for major career opportunities were wild. That is a fact. And I highlighted some of that. I agree with that. It was super duper wild. Super duper wild. Imagine getting a chance to speak to your idol and somebody tell you you had to do something that was like, they was basically devaluing you. But when you're in your young teens, I don't think you look at it so grandiose that way. When you're older, when that frontal lobe develops, you're like, yo, what the fuck was I doing? Why did I do that? Shit look crazy. Why did I do that? Why did I make that decision? I wish I could go back. And when it's caught on camera, when it's caught on tape, it's like, yo. So, and honestly, if that video had no words, it would look even worse. It would look even worse. But when you look back at it, and because we're older and we're thinking about things from different angles and things like that now, it's like, why are they doing that? Like you ever had an older person around you and they treated you like an adult? Oh yeah, you could drink this beer. Yeah, you could look at these naked magazines. And when you're a kid, you like, damn, this person mad cool, yo. Damn, they mad cool. And you don't know they could be pedo. They probably just doing it just to get you, comfortable, right? And you don't know it. You're just looking at it from a kid's mentality. But when you get older, you're like, damn, why did such and such, why was they okay with me looking at porn around them? Why was they okay? Like, yo, man, I got me a beer. Yo, you want one? Like, why was they okay with that? Right? Like, it's not the same like your dad where y'all at the park and he drinking a beer. Like, yo, you want a quick sip? Like, look at this little dude. He trying to get a little hair on his chest. Take a little sip of this Heineken, right? That's not that. We talking about like really getting somebody comfortable in order to do what? In order to do what? Figure them out. So, history is a mother, yo. And when they catch it on tape, it don't age well. Shout out to Ike Love, my dog Ike. He's been doing that for years. It's unfortunate that he has that type of power. And again, a lot of these dudes, believe it or not, is talented in what they do, but they also like it's just and see, my thing is not the fact that he's an older man and she was a young adult woman. That's not my issue. My issue is how he did it. How he did it. That's my issue. That is my issue. Because my thing is, when you're an adult, you're an adult. You make decisions how you make decisions. Whether they're good or bad, you have to be accountable for said decisions. You cannot be asked to be sexualized as an adult, but take on non-adult accountability, right? So she's accountable for this, for sure. But at the same time, back in the late 90s and the early 2000s, the music business was completely different. You had to play ball. And I'm not saying that she slept with him. I'm not saying that she did anything else in a sexual type of favor for him to get any type of thing. I'm talking about from this situation alone. She's not the only artist that had to go through this. She's not. And some artists did way more. Did way more. And the craziest thing, it doesn't even matter if you have a parent in the business. Like, we've heard some of the things about the artist Aaliyah, rest in peace, but she had a whole uncle in the business. She had a whole uncle in the business that was like a dude in the business. Like, yo, he made shit happen. He wasn't able to protect his niece. So it doesn't even matter if you have somebody in the business. It can happen to anybody. If they get caught in a bad situation that made them look bad. I mean, if y'all remember the show The Game, right? The show The Game, they had an episode when Malik had a little sister. And the little sister was in the music. And she's at the studio. And they like, yo, Malik, you need to go get your sister. And what she was about to participate in. Panty dropping time. Panty dropping time. The Malik went to go get his sister. Hey, yo, it's time to roll. The producer said, yo, unless you about to drop your panties too, bro, it's time for you to roll. I just did a beat for her. So it's panty dropping time up in here. She got to run that. And they had to call Pookie from Richmond to get up out of there. And I know I'm adding levity to this, but this is a very serious matter. This is a very real thing. If you look at the history of a lot of women, especially the artists back in them 90s and them early 2000s, and again, I'm not saying Beyonce did this. I'm just saying that she did sit on his lap to speak to Michael Jackson on speaker. And she didn't have to sit on his lap. But again, that was a misjudgment on her part that she has to be accountable for. But it's also a mistake on a young person, again, that's not looking at the big picture. That's not looking at the total situation. Like most other artists, most other men, most other women that went through the same exact thing, if not worse. Shout out to the chat. Y'all going in the chat. She looks so incredibly nervous. But you can tell 99% of that shaking was purely because She was about to talk to her ultimate idol, Michael Jackson. Shout out to Hopping in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. Appreciate you for tapping in. He's a weirdo, but appreciate that. Hit them likes, hit the 100s for tapping in. But yeah, he's been doing that for years, and it's unfortunate he has that type of power. Again, shout out to Ike Love. Matter of fact, I haven't had a chance to do this tonight. So shout out to Ike Love for that comment. Shout out to Kiesel. I'm going to pin one of those comments from Kiesel. Well, he's been cooking as well. Shout out to CC. Shout out to QMP. Shout out to Ike. Shout out to Washida. Shout out to y'all in the chat, man. Y'all going in the chat, so I appreciate that. Again, we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 14. So again, I appreciate y'all support each and every episode. The first time tuning in, I'm Ashley Lovechild. Ken and Brothers Get It Right podcast. We're on live every Wednesday, every Sunday. So again, I appreciate y'all support. But yeah. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic in Time to Rap. Two fraternities at the University of Penn State are the center of a cocaine trafficking ring, leading to charges against 14 people. Authorities have announced. Penn State has came out since in their statement and said that that the school does not recognize their fraternity. So, you know, they're trying to dissociate the fraternity from the school based on these charges, because even if they didn't recognize them prior to, which I kind of doubt, they wouldn't have been able to do kind of some of the things that they've been able to do as a fraternity. So, you know, Penn State has came out and said so. But yeah, shout out to Ike. He's been doing that for years. But yeah, so again, Penn State, the University of Penn State, two fraternities at Penn State are at the center of a cocaine trafficking ring, leading the charges against 14 people, authorities announced. And I think this is crazy. This kind of feel like, I'm not going to hold you, this is crazy. You would think these kids is in there for education. You're already in the school. You're already at the University of Penn State. Why not finish up, take your degree, and move this thing along? Why chance it? Now you're facing penitentiary chances. You won't get your education. Well, he can finish, but like, ain't that a little different? Having a education from Penn State. Now you're going to get your education from the state pen. Wouldn't you rather have that degree from the University of Penn State? Like, I just don't understand that. People be really putting themselves in harm's way. In harm's way. And the little money that they get in today, in the span that it would have took, you would have made that more and then some if you'd have just been patient. If you'd have just been patient, you'd have made more and then some. It would have took a little bit more time, but you'd have made more and then some, and you could have enjoyed your freedom on top of that. Now, is it worth it? Now, is it worth it? Is $100,000 worth your freedom? Is $1 million worth your freedom? Is $10 million worth your freedom? What's the purpose of having money if you can't spend it? If you're going to spend a large amount of your adult life behind bars? Is it worth it? Would you rather have $20 million? All right, put it like this. Would you rather be free and have the ability to amass $20 million and not make $20 million, but still live a good life? Or go to jail for 40 years but have $20 million in the bank? Which one is more important to you? All right, I'll be nice. Instead of 40 years, let's say you do 25. Say you do 25. 25, you get 20 mil. Is that worth it? Or would you rather be out making good money? Doesn't have to be 20 mil, but you still have the opportunity to make that type of money and enjoy your life and have your freedom. To me, time is everything. Time is everything. Time is more expensive or more valuable than money, in my opinion. Because you can never get back time. You can always get back money. You can always get back money. Once you learned a tool and once you have a system and you rinse and repeat, you're going to make money. Especially when you're really good at something. You're going to make money. But you can't get back time. You can't. To go to jail and be away from your family and all your goals, especially if you're a goal-driven person, yeah, no, I'm not jacking this at all. So the fact that these people got caught, they got caught red-handed, and they're going to do time. Shout out to Keyshaw. They're going to do some time. Using pledges to cut and package kilos of cocaine from Philly to New York is literal indoctrination process into the fraternity is absolutely insane. And then, like I said, the school has came out and said they don't recognize the fraternity. Like how? They had all the access as a fraternity, so now y'all don't recognize them because this literally looked like something out of power. Like, give me a break. Give me a break. Like I feel like these kids like watched the Power universe and was like, yo, we can do that. We can do that. And they pulled it off, but not good enough because they got caught. The whole purpose to do is not to get caught and make the money and keep it pushing. They got caught. Shout out to Ike Love. Anything lost can be earned again except time. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. That is a fact. I agree with you 100%, bro. You cannot get time back. You cannot get time back. Time is time. That's something you can never get back ever again. Once you lose the time, and again, I don't want to speak about myself, but I'm not the only one that's a goal-driven person. So time for me is the real death sentence. That's the real death sentence. Is that I can't do what I'm very goal-oriented. If I don't have the time to accomplish my goal, and mind you, I'm a free man. I got 24 hours, and 24 hours is not enough to hit all my goals the way I want to do it at all times. So I can't imagine if I'm locked up. What? That's the real death sentence for me. And I'm pretty sure for a lot of other people, that's goal-oriented. You can never get back time. Time is way more valuable than money, in my opinion. That's just me personally. That's just me personally. A shout out to Keyshaw having used to just be drinking too much or doing chores, but these guys were literally forcing 18-year-old kids to become federal drug traffickers just to get initiated. Yeah, true, but there's got to be self-accountability. It got to be self-accountability. When people are 18, 19, 20, they're young adults, but there's some sort of self-accountability where in your mind you know something is not right. And you have to be a leader. You have to be able to walk away and be like, yeah, I really want to mess with y'all fraternity, but yeah, I get that, but I'm cool. I'm not even gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna blow y'all spot up, but I'm not gonna be down with this. We can't ask an 18-year-old to take the accolades of going to school and being responsible for doing their work and things like that and not be responsible for anything that's a criminal act. Like, let's keep this real. And in today and age where people have all the information in the information age, yo, accountability is key. So it's unfortunate that these kids, this was a part of the initiation process, but yeah, nah, they have to take on some accountability too, for sure. For sure. They have to take on some accountability. So I'm pretty sure that they disappointed themselves. Their family is disappointed in them. But damn, you're at Penn State. I've been to Penn State before. I've been there. It's a big, big campus. It's a mega campus. Penn State is so big, they literally have parts of the campus that's literally 45 minutes away from the main campus. It's huge. It's huge. And it's a chance of a lifetime because Penn State is considered a quality education. in most fields is considered a quality education, a top quality education. You went to Penn State. Wow, that must have been an experience. Oh, you graduated, got your degree. Okay, then this person is like, you're saying to yourself like, damn, like this is lit. This is verifiable right here. This is a quality, top level education, and you throw that away for a couple of dollars. Hey man, if you know better, you do better, right? But it is what it is. Shout out to Keesaw, Ashley. I said the same thing, bro. Yeah, I mean, it's penitentiary chances for what? For what? Never get that time back. You never get that time back. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Our Keep the Lie Live segment. My Keep the Lie Live for tonight is this. Being selfish is good for your growth. Excuse me. Being a little selfish is good for your growth. Being a little selfish is good for your growth. The reason why I say that is mainly because you have to do right by you in order to put yourself in position to do right for anybody else if you choose to. Being a little selfish to accomplish your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, it's a requirement to be good at it. It's a requirement to see growth because you're making your priorities about growing. And there's no way that you can grow and not be a little selfish with your time, with your money, with the efforts of moving this shit forward. How can you give other people opportunity if you don't have opportunity? And in order to create opportunity for yourself, you have to sacrifice what? Your time. Can't hang out as much as you want to. Can't talk on the phone as much as you want to. Can't play video games as much as you want to. You can't spend time with your kids as much as you want to. These things are sacrifice. Can't pull up to the family barbecue because you want to. You got something to do. I remember growing up as a kid, I'm always in football camp. I'm always in basketball camp. You coming to the family reunion? Nah, I'm gonna be at football camp by that time. When the family reunion, it's in August, yeah. Season start early September. I gotta be in football camp. Sacrifice, taking time to be great at something. So being a little selfish is a definite requirement for you to grow. And also, let's keep it real. The things that we want to do and be great at, that's on us to make it happen. Most times, other people don't believe for real. Most people can't see that shit. Most people don't really believe for real. Again, I remember growing up, I boxed first, then I started playing football and basketball. Now, one thing I can say, my parents believed that I was going to go play in the NFL. They did believe that. I believed that, right? But it didn't work out like that. I got hurt, fell in love with music, and the rest is history. And my mother said, I would have never thought you'd have been an artist. Never. And she was proud of me. And my parents wasn't the proud of you type, right? But other people that saw me as an athlete couldn't see me as an artist. And like, ain't no way. No way. No, nah. You look like a football player. You should be playing football. You should be playing basketball. Nah, we can't see it. I don't believe it. And now today, obviously, many years later, this is what, 2007? I mean, 2026, almost 20 years later. Been able to have a whole career. So at the end of the day, you have to be a little selfish to have growth, to be a benefit to yourself in order to put yourself in position for other people. Now, this goes past me. This goes to everybody else. Most people that do things in their profession do things that other people could not see. I ain't gonna hold you. I have several friends that was in the neighborhood and was constantly outside that was doing the most. They police officers now. They correction officers now. I would have never thought I would know you to be a correction officer and a police officer when as kids you raised the most hell. But now as an adult, you see that now. And they had to be a little selfish with their time in order to be best versions of that, in order for them to help themselves and other people, putting themselves in position. Again, this goes towards everybody. Because when you're striving for something and people, they like, yeah, you know, don't forget about us, or yeah, he ain't really gonna do it for real. He's just doing that to pass the time. And now that they do it and they really good, they really serious about what they do, it's like, oh damn, you don't have the same energy now, huh? But at the end of the day, you sacrifice your time. You sacrifice money. So you have to be a little selfish in order to grow. So that is my Keep the Lie Live for this episode. I appreciate y'all tuning and tapping in. Shout out to Keysor. People pleasing will have you stagnant for years because you're too busy. You're too busy watering everybody else's garden while your own dirt is bone dry. Shout out to Ike. Focusing on yourself is the best thing. That's a fact, bro. That's a fact, bro. Focusing on yourself is the absolute best thing. And even when you have kids, most people say, yeah, I put my kids before everything else. My kids. Okay, I get the sentiment. But in order to help your kids, you have to be in position for yourself. You can't sacrifice yourself for your children, because at the end of the day, you're closer to the blessing than your children. You can't take on all the pain and all the negative energy and expect your children to go out there with none of that. They, after a while, they know what mommy's going through. They know what daddy's going through. So if you're unhealed in your growth and where you're at in life, what do you think your kids is going to do if you're not together? So as an adult, as a parent, you have to have yourself together before you give to your kids. If you're not a parent, you still have to have yourself together before to give to anybody. So being a little selfish is vital for growth, because you have to sacrifice your time, your energy. You have to sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice when you hear naysayers. That's more of a motivational factor, right? Can't wait to get a naysayer. Oh, you doubting me? Oh, okay, cool. That put the battery in my back because I was already charged up. But now I'm gonna have a special way to show you. I'm gonna show you. Bet. Cool. Keep that same energy. 5 years from now, keep that same energy. And it's crazy when you get really good at something, and uberly great at something, now people see you for that. And the reason why I brought up myself, when I first started music, people didn't see me as a music artist because they know me for playing sports. Now, my friends, the people around me, like, yo, when is the next album coming out? When is that next album coming out, bro? Like, we need a new album. We need some new music. So it's amazing when you start off your starting point, how people don't believe. And then that you have to sacrifice your time. Like, damn, I really wanted this bad, where I'm sacrificing not going on dates and spending time with my lady, or not spending time with the kids, or not, you know, going to family functions and doing this, that, and the third. You have to sacrifice something in order to be great, in order for you to grow, in order for your businesses to grow, in order for your profession to grow. So I like what they said in the chat. Focus on yourself in order for you to grow. Is the best thing. Shout out to my dog Fam. Appreciate Fam in the building. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. You already know it helps with the growth of the show. Appreciate, continue to engage. Salute to the people on this Wisdom Wednesday. Knowledge is powerful. Love that. Shout out to my dog Fam in the building. Appreciate you as always, man. Keysor Ashley spoke pure facts on this segment. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that, because at the end of the day, in order to have real growth, you have to have or be a little selfish. Have to. Even for yourself. If you like playing video games, hey, I gotta cut down on the video games to get this shit done. If you like video games so much to the point where you're gonna make a living from it, bet, yo, yeah, I like going to the park too, but I'm not gonna go to the park as much because I need to focus on this in order to be great. And when you focus on more on being great, the money just gonna come. The money gonna come. If you do the things that you love doing, you're not really working for real. You're not really working for real. If you're doing something that you love, the money is just gonna come because people could hear and see the type of love that you're putting into something. That you're putting into something. One of the things that I love doing outside of my other businesses, I love doing graphic art. So if a college football team was like, yo, Ashley, yo, we want you to come and design our uniforms. Oh my God. Outside of music, bro, one, we're gonna be the flyest, most dapper team out there. You know what I'm saying? And secondly, that's something that I love doing outside of music. Period, point blank. Outside of any of the businesses that I have, that I love doing is graphic art. So if a company, an NBA team, a college team was like, yo, we want you to redesign our uniform or something like that, or redesign our design, I got you. I got you. You know what I'm saying? So when you do things that you love and put the 10,000 hours in order to be great, it comes with being a little selfish. It comes with being a little selfish. And in order to be great and have growth, you have to be a little selfish. So that's my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, tapping in, setting hard boundaries and saying no so you can focus on your own bag, mental health and goals isn't toxic. It's mandatory survival. Shout out to Keesaw for that. Appreciate that, Keesaw. Appreciate that, man. Like, yo, y'all been absolutely amazing all show. Y'all been staying engaged all show. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Keesaw. Shout out to fam. Shout out to Ike Love. Shout out to Washida. Shout out to CC Emotions. Shout out to Q and P. Shout out. I'm not gonna say every single person, but shout out to y'all in the chat. Y'all been super engaged, and I appreciate the love as always. Again, if this is your first time tuning in, tapping in, I'm on every Wednesday, every Sunday. So make sure y'all come back, tell a friend, bring another friend, and we can have a good time. We speak about everything. We have the conversation. We get into the entertainment conversation, current news, viral moments, sports, entertainment, even the underground spotlight. We show love here. So again, I appreciate the love each and every episode. Again, you can tap into me by typing in Ashley Lovechild, and everything will pop up, whether it's social media, my music, everything will pop up. Continue to show support and love to that as well. Again, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps. You get to find in some movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Again, shout out to the chat. Shout out to Fam Ash. Have you ever thought about doing a hip hop comic book for the culture? I'm working on that. It's funny that he says that. I'm actually working on that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not enough hours in the goddamn day. I'm working on a new album. I'm working on a comic book and comic series. I'm working on the comic book and the comic series that have hip hop tropes in the actual comic book series. So basically, what I can't say it because somebody going. But it's using hip hop tropes, and it has hip hop in it, and these are new characters and things of that nature, and it's basically like that. So that's how I'm doing it. So it's not Marvel, it's something else, right? But it has hip hop based tropes on how they use. I can say this, right? Where they use basically like a foursome mentality, like, you know, how they force an artist in front of us for the chicken sandwich, right? And then you have somebody with knowledge, you know what I'm saying? So it has like a very hip hop element to it. So yeah. I think I've said it before. So can I say it? I think I said it before. It's called Mojo Universe. Called Mojo Universe. I can say it because it's copyright. So I can say it's the Mojo Universe. So I can say it. Yeah. So shout out to my dog fam. I probably wore one of the shirts. Have y'all ever seen me wear a shirt with the characters on? Those are my characters. that I designed and had created. Yeah. Yeah, working on the animation. We got the theme song done. Like it's gonna be lit. You know what I'm saying? Just not enough hours in the day, man. We got the podcast, we got the album, we got the animation series. I run a couple other businesses outside of the music, so sometimes it just don't be enough hours in the day. But y'all gonna get all of this coming soon as well. So yeah. And I worked on another movie script too, because I love movies. I'm a big movie buff, if y'all didn't know too. I worked on another. I actually completed a movie script. But it's a scary movie, y'all. It's a scary. I'm trying my hand at horror. And it's gonna be fire too. It's a scary movie. But yes. Yes. So shout out to my dog fan for that. Yes. Yes. You know what I probably do with the comic strip though? I probably release cards. So that way y'all could, get to know the characters before I actually do the strip. And then when the strip comes, then you be like, oh, I know this character. You know what I'm saying? Introduce it a certain type of way. So remember, episode 300 is coming up. We at 185 right now. So that's going to be a special episode. It's going to be a lot of announcements. And I can't wait for that episode. It's going to be a big episode. We're going to do some giveaways as well. Also, I feel like I'm missing something else. Oh, and be on the lookout for the new OUV Records app that will be out. I'm still working on it. It's 2 components that's missing from the app. And once we get those components, it's going to be available for everybody. And the app in itself is OUV Records, having music directly to the followers, the supporters who love great fire music, period, point blank. And we're dropping new music on that app monthly. We backlogged with music. So we'll have the music dropping monthly. It's going to be music already on there, just like how Apple, Spotify drop music monthly. We're going to be doing the same thing, but it's going to be direct from us to y'all. And we're not dealing with the middlemen no more. We're not. You're not going to see another album from OUV Records touch Spotify and Apple. You're not going to see that. No. Not going to see it moving forward. So it's going to be a fire app. So we just missing those 2 components. So once we have that, it's going to be available. Again, I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. Again, I'm on live every Wednesday, every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Sunday. I drop videos daily. So continue to engage in those videos. I do jump into the comments. Even if you disagree with my take, that's cool, that's fine. And as long as you have something sensible to say, I show love to the comment. But if you're trolling, then you're going. So again, I appreciate the support each and every. And again, we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 14. Eventually, we want to get to that 100,000 mark. I would love to have a YouTube plaque back here, and everything like that. So again, eventually we'll get there. But we on that road. So again, I appreciate y'all support each and every episode. And remember, y'all, do not be an agent of chaos. Do not try to stand out by being negative. Have the ability to stand out by being positive. Lose that Willie Lynch mindset. Lose that it can only be one mindset. We celebrate life culture over here. Hate has a location. It's just not here. The only op we recognize over here is opportunity. And I will see y'all this Sunday. Sunday going to be here before you know it. Wednesday, like from Sunday to Wednesday, it literally be like Monday will go by and like we got the show. Same thing with Wednesday night. Thursday go by and then it just be Sunday. I'm going to see y'all Sunday at 10:30. And remember, y'all, share the video. Bring a friend with you next time you come live. And have the great conversation. And I love having y'all. And I love that support from y'all. And y'all already know, man, it's love. And I'm going to see y'all this Sunday live at 10:30. I'm out.